actually have something special. I will be releasing the Carter 5 on my birthday. Again, on my birthday, I actually have something special for y'all. I will be releasing the Carter 5 on my birthday. If you don't know what my birthday is, Wikipedia does.
Lil Wayne announces on Wednesday of this week, he says, I will be releasing the Carter 5 on my birthday.
It's a beautiful thing.
And my God, am I a huge Lil Wayne fan.
I'll never forget when you texted me and you were like, yo, the Carter 5 is being released this Thursday. I was so hyped.
I'm so happy about this. Even before getting into the fact that it came out and I listened to it, I've been looking forward to this for like everybody, for 5 years.
Yeah, this was a long time coming, this album. Like,
Right.
we have been waiting. It doesn't matter if you're a Lil Wayne fan or not, you know? Like, everybody has been waiting for this album. You know, he's had some stuff along the way. I think he had two EPs, Sorry for the Wait 1 and Sorry for the Wait 2. And, it was a wait. It was a wait for this album.
Sorry for the Wait 1 was actually for Carter 4. So that was before this one. And then
I thought it was after.
No.
Oh. All I knew was we've been waiting, you know, and thank you for finally releasing this album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Carter back at it again.
Mr. Lil Wayne. Mr. Weezy. Weezy, baby.
So, what do you think about it, David?
All right, so he announces it's coming out like a day before it comes out. This has been long awaited, and he has been kind of on the downfall lately. Like, you know, he's released some songs. None of them have been giant hits that I know of.
He's been featured in some songs. I mean,
yeah,
think about
decent
it. That one, like
features.
DJ Khaled, like summer hit.
I'm the One.
Yeah, everybody loved that song.
But everybody hated Lil Wayne's verse. As far as I know, people that I know.
That's the thing, though. People, and you know, I just talked about this earlier today. People, you know, they diss Lil Wayne. They talk trash about him, but they listen to him behind closed doors. Everybody listens to Lil Wayne.
You got to. He's incredible.
You turn on 6 foot, 7 foot, and every person at the party is gonna love it.
But one thing I will say is Lil Wayne in the past has always been like, he's always been kind of the funny rapper in a way. Like Lollipop is a funny song. Mrs. Officer, it's a funny song. These are Carter 3. These are on his Carter
songs.
albums. They make you laugh. He hasn't always had these deep, meaningful songs that make you really respect the guy.
He also has a lot of like good pump-up songs, like Blunt Blowin' and 3P.
A
Millie, 6 foot, 7 foot. I mean, like, he has some bangers, right?
And even right above it, a lot of people got really into that song.
Yeah, almost any song he has with Drake or Eminem is a good song. Drop the World. Like, he has some great bangers, and I felt like with this album, he did not have any really heavy bangers.
He didn't. He didn't have heavy bangers, but he had, I mean, almost every song was really, really good.
I would say the closest to a banger on this album was probably the one with Kendrick, Mona Lisa.
Yeah, Mona Lisa with Kendrick was, the beat, it's like slowly progresses. It slowly gets stronger as the song goes. It starts off a little slow, and you're like, come on, Wayne, get into it, man. And then
he drops it.
He goes for it.
I mean, and he does that with a lot of these songs. Even though they were like slower, like you said, they were more meaningful.
Right. I'd say probably his more pump-up song, or where he goes like fast, like maybe Carter 2 type Wayne, was in Let It Fly with Travis Scott. He starts to kind of pick up the beat at the end.
Yeah.
And he sounds like old school him. It's not the like crappy auto-tune.
Well, and like I mentioned to you, when he collaborates with people, it's almost like he builds off of them. Like, that energy is built, and I love that in all of his collaborations.
Yeah, his collabs are great.
So, favorite song on the album? Go.
Oh, we're already going there already? I was going to talk about this all day.
Oh, I mean, we can talk about this all day. I want to know your favorite song on the album. I know it's so hard for you
tough
to choose.
because I've only listened to this like 3 times, which is a lot for the fact that it's barely been out. But
and it's an hour and a half album.
Yeah, exactly.
23 songs. I mean,
but I would say I really like
You like the last
I
song.
really like the last song. I really like Let It All Work
Out.
Out because he gets really deep into how there's always been this story of how he shot himself, right? And I don't know if that's something that most people know. He shot himself in the chest when he was pretty young, and he never really explained why. He always said it was an accident. And just recently, last week, he came out saying that his mom actually told him that he couldn't rap anymore, didn't want him to rap, and it really got into his head, and he got, I guess, depression, because he decided, I'm going to take this gun, and he was so distraught, I'm gonna put it to my chest and pull the trigger. He put it on his head, and then thought differently, called his aunt. This is all in this song called Let It All Work Out.
Yeah.
He puts it on his head, thinks about it, calls his aunt. She doesn't answer, and then he goes, all right, putting it on my chest, and he pulls it, and it misses his heart by like centimeters or less.
If that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and that's something he admits after years and years. And he's even quoted that time of shooting himself as something that's inspired him to become a rapper and like motivated him through this journey of Lil Wayne.
That's a good song. I would say, well, I think it's interesting that you mentioned his mother, because isn't that first song his mother? I mean, it's not a song. It's just his mother talking, which a lot of rappers are starting to do nowadays. I find that very interesting.
That is interesting.
Whether it's like cell phone conversations or just conversations that they've had. And you know who started that? Kanye West with Taylor Swift, when he recorded that phone conversation with her.
That you think that was one of the first ones?
I think he was one of the first people to start that. I think he
might be.
innovated that. But now everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Logic. I mean,
Yeah.
We'll get to that
Eminem.
soon, too.
I mean, everybody's doing it nowadays. And, people were putting them in the beginning of songs, but not having them as their own solo segment, kind of like an introduction, a intermission, and a conclusion, right? I mean, that's
Right.
how the majority of these albums are based now, with phone conversations or whatever. So I find that kind of interesting. What did you think about XXX in a song? I mean, Don't Cry is what the song is called. It's the second song on the album. I found it interesting that I think it was week 2. We're on week 4 now. Week 2, I know we kind of mentioned, the fact that somebody is going to take his music and start releasing it. Then week 3, a song came out. Then week 4, a song came out. It's happening, what we predicted.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a moneymaker. I understand that. And you did mention a good, I know you said, well, maybe the song is already recorded, which is a strong possibility. But at the same time, I feel like if a song was recorded, then it may not have been like on the top priority to be released. And then he just decided, since this is getting so much publicity, he said, I'm releasing this song.
Yeah, I mean, everything about this song, and maybe it's because we have the context of him already of passing, but it's called Don't Cry. It's a sadder song. It's slower. And I don't know if Lil Wayne added this in afterwards or if this song was created afterwards, but he keeps saying, like, I want to XXX extend the afterlife or extend into the afterlife. He's talking about death. And at the end of the song, he says, like, rest in paradise. It's a song about
His death. Yeah.
And somehow he's singing in it, which just seems, I don't know. Either it's a really strange coincidence or it was just a really thought out, well-planned song.
Or it's ironic.
Or it's a coincidence.
Or it's ironic. Anyways, so why don't you give us a little rundown? Because I know you've obviously been a Lil Wayne fan for a very long time. I mean, so have I, but not to the degree you have been. You have obviously loved Lil Wayne, and you praise him like I praise Kanye, right? So why don't you give us a little rundown of kind of why this album has been delayed for so long? I mean, it's kind of ironic or a coincidence of Carter 5 has been delayed for 5 years. So, and it keeps getting pushed off. because of lawsuits or whatever, you know, and it's interesting because normally albums don't have to go through all this legality to be released. So tell me all the history behind it.
So basically, Lil Wayne doesn't have the rights to everything that's related to like Cash Money, which is like the company who's in charge of a lot of these songs and his own music. He doesn't get to choose when he releases it. He announced that he was starting to work on this album back in 2013.
A long time ago. We weren't even in college yet.
Yeah, exactly. We hadn't graduated high school. So Birdman, did I say Birdman was the one in charge of Cash Money?
No, but people know that.
Okay.
I mean, obviously this big feud has kind of been between those two.
Right. So Birdman and Lil Wayne have had this feud going on, and Birdman hasn't released it. He's always trying to build up the anticipation. They just had a difference of opinion and been going back and forth at each other. And recently Lil Wayne did apologize to Birdman, and they kind of settled their differences. And somehow they got over whatever was holding up this album. It's unreleased. We don't know exactly what caused that argument between the two. But anyways,
but was it fully recorded? Because I feel like XXX was not even a glimmer in the picture back in the day, like when all this was going down. And that's why I'm asking you, because like obviously Lil Wayne did not get this guy signed and everything.
yeah.
So that's why I'm asking you, like, obviously maybe this was recorded later on. So I don't think the whole album was recorded. I think he's been recording this over the past 5 years.
Listening to this album, there's no way that some of these beats were made or some of these lyrics were made 5 years ago. A lot of them were made this year for sure. But I think there's a few of them that probably were at least started back 5 years ago. But there's not really any way to know that. I mean, I would guess he made twice as many songs as this at least, and then scrapped some, like you said, and then.
Well, that's what every artist does.
Yeah. But some of these, there's no way that they were made 5 years ago. They're just too current. Okay, so there's another song on here called "Dark Side of the Moon" on this album, and it's with Nicki Minaj. And what's different about this is that there's no rapping on it. And that's not very common for a Carter album.
Even a rap album in general.
Right.
You know, think of the last rap album you listened to. I guarantee you there was no singing on that album.
And this is a beautiful song. It's beautiful. It's not like it goes hard. It's not. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's just everything about it is beautiful.
Nicki Minaj's voice is the voice of an angel when she sings. When she starts rapping, I wouldn't necessarily call her an angel. But when she sings, I've said this basically since one of her first songs, Super Bass. I have always thought that she was a beautiful singer. And I've always thought that if she stuck with singing, I feel like she'd get so many more gigs. I think she's beautiful.
All right, let me run through the rest.
Not a queen, though.
I mean, she's queen over. Even Lil Wayne says she's queen over Cardi B.
Yeah, but Lil Wayne isn't a king either. It's great that he came out with his album and all, but
Best rapper alive.
Okay.
He even says it in this album.
Of course he does.
All right, I'm gonna do a really quick rundown, just going through all these songs. I slapped the table. Sammy's not happy about that. I'll get over. I'll fix that. Anyways, rundown of this album. The Kendrick Lamar song goes crazy. The next one that I really liked was Open Letter, and this might be in my top. It's just Lil Wayne being Lil Wayne. He's being deep about his life, and this album is different in that way because it's not this album where he's really happy and excited and joking about lollipops and officers.
I do just love his auto-tune. I mean, I don't know. It's his sound, right? And I think that makes him unique. So that's why I liked Open Letter, because like like I said, he does build off the energy from when he collaborates with people. But I felt like Open Letter, you know, he needs some songs where it's just his song. And this was a good one to put in there. I agree.
The next one is Famous by Regine, and that is his daughter, actually. And she sounds really good at singing. I didn't know that she was a singer or that she made albums, but she does a very good job on this track of singing the chorus.
Regine or Regine?
I feel like I've heard him say Regine. He said something strange. It might be Regine, but I swear he said Regine or something odd like that.
I have not listened to this song yet. I'm assuming it's good. I mean, I'm sure he has chemistry with his daughter.
It's definitely in my top 5.
Oh, okay. So it's up there for you.
Oh, yeah. Dope N-Words with Snoop Dogg in it is also a fantastic song.
Does he find a way to make Snoop Dogg sound somewhat articulate? Oh, wait. Lil Wayne isn't either. No, Lil Wayne's pretty articulate, actually. He's got a very high IQ.
Lil Wayne was a straight-A student.
And he's got a very high IQ. So, but Snoop Dogg is definitely not. So,
yeah. So, anyways, I don't disagree. I'm not the biggest Snoop Dogg fan. So, this song, Snoop Dogg, he doesn't play a huge part in this song. He does well, but Lil Wayne really good. It's just a great beat. That's what I can say about a lot of this album. Hittas is interesting to me for 2 reasons. It starts off with a little clip from that deposition. Do you remember that video, Sammy, of Lil Wayne being like interrogated by someone and saying like, "Do you recall such and such?" And he goes, "I do not recall."
Yes, I do. I know exactly what you're talking about. That was sports. That was like Sports Center or something, wasn't it? It was like an ESPN interview.
No.
I don't remember.
No, I do not
recall.
He was being sued.
Oh, yes.
And it was like a lawsuit against him or something like that.
Yes.
And they were like, well, what they asked him in that, which I don't understand why they did this, but what they asked him in that deposition is, do you remember going to a Kanye West party and like performing there? And he goes, "No, but I did perform at this badass bitch birthday party. She was crazy, stupid thick." But for some reason in this one, they edit out the first guy's voice and put in someone saying, "Did you perform with Willie Nelson at a country concert?"
That's interesting. I wonder why they did that. Maybe because he actually did perform at a Kanye place.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He must have.
That must have been a hype party, though. I wish I was there. Lil Wayne and Kanye together? Holy cow.
And then later in the song, there's also another clip from an old interview where he's saying, you hear a woman saying, "Clearly, Lil Wayne answers to no one." And that's back from the very popular, very famous 2009 interview with Katie Couric about the Carter 3, which is just kind of interesting to me that he would go back to the old days and bring that in.
That's what makes a good rapper. I mean, taking stuff from back in the day. Hey, you know what? That's kind of an interesting thing to say because all the rappers seem to be doing that right now.
That's true.
I mean, Eminem, he just brought up beef from 8 years ago. You know, like all the rappers are starting to take stuff from back in the day, quote unquote. So I wouldn't say all the rappers, but the ones of our time.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's gonna be on Kanye's album tomorrow. If he's gonna have like stuff from back in the day.
I see it for sure. As long as he's not going like sloop diddy whoop, whoop diddy scoop.
Whoop scoop dee whoop. No, I doubt it. I actually doubt it because there's a lot of modern day issues that he's dealing with that I don't know if he will necessarily flash to the past because he's currently living in the present. Speaking of Kanye, he came out and basically he's going to be releasing his album, and he came out and said, I know that the Carter 5 is being released. He said, but he said, I understand that, and my album is coming out Saturday. He goes, so I know the Carter 5 is going to beat out my album this first week, which is interesting to say. And on top of that, Rolling Stones wrote an article that basically says that he failed to recognize that Logic will be beating out both their albums. Do you believe that? Because I don't.
I don't believe that for a second.
The Carter 5 has been waited for 5 years. Logic comes out with a song every other week.
I think Logic's fan base is
Lame.
growing, but I don't think it's growing at a rate that... I mean, it's definitely not growing at a rate that Kanye or Lil Wayne did, ever.
But it's not, and it's not developed to the same point that Wayne or Kanye have it developed, right? They've had fans that are loyal, and it's almost like a cult. And they've had these fans for years. Logic has just started his fan base. I guess like with his mainstream stuff, right? So I don't know. There's a lot of this Rolling Stones article that I don't agree with. The Rolling Stones article basically said the caption, the title of the article is Lil Wayne's The Carter 5 and Kanye's Yandhi mark the end of an era.
The end of what era?
What the end of exactly?
It's still continuing.
Are you telling me that old hip hop, what was defined as hip hop, is done? Because Eminem just released an album, Lil Wayne just released an album, Kanye just released an album. All these hip hop artists back then are still making music, and they're making a ton of money off of it. You're not going to tell me that they're done.
I would say what marks an era is like I Am Not a Human Being 2 by Lil Wayne, where it just fails and no one's interested in it. I don't think a successful album like this one marks the end of an era.
Not at all.
It's like new beginnings more.
I don't know. I disagree with this. This article is basically making the claim that new rap has taken the role here. But like these guys are still making music.